welcome back to Paradise Evil Can't Read section soever. Yeah, Crimson Grey, Dusk and Dawn. There we go. Dawn and Dusk? I forgot. Lizzie had been having a good day until she went out to get the mail. It contained their usual financial statements from the college, which normally she looked at dutifully, but didn't particularly care about. Nothing was wrong, technically. Their account was in good order, and all the payments were as expected. So why, as there's crazy-ass, creepy-ass music playing, what bothered her was that their debt had only changed by the usual amount. John had been working so much, shouldn't it have gone down? To be sure she wasn't making a mistake, Lizzie went to find a previous statement in a box with the other since John was always so organized. Yes, everything was just as she remembered. Odd. Chewing her lower lip, Lizzie began looking around their home, because I'm putting words that aren't there. Checking alternative possibilities, the cash they kept at home was about the usual. There hadn't been any expenses she neglected to consider, and no mid-semester textbooks. Then where had the money gone? Wait a minute. I just noticed that picture by the cleaver. Not the one that's from the beginning menu, the one there, it's just a lazy. Her first thought was a fear that they had been robbed somehow, which is so usual these days with hackers and stuff. But in 1992, I don't know. The second, that the university was cheating them. But she discarded both of those quickly, as they would have had other consequences before now. That left the possibility that John was intentionally hiding something from her. Slowly sinking into the couch, Lizzie chewed one of her fingers and rolled her knife around the other hand in an exercise that was usually soothing, but not this time. Calm down, music. There was the possibility that he wanted to buy something for himself. He hadn't had his own computer for the game. Maybe it was that. But if that was true, why wouldn't he have mentioned it to her? Sorry. Someone remind me. Probably won't. Did he think that she would ever deny him anything? It was possible that he was gathering it for some kind of emergency, or even to leave? No, surely not. She couldn't live without him. And John would never do such a thing. But why? Realizing there was blood trickling down her finger, Lizzie removed it from her mouth. She pauses a moment, stealing her knife, then took a deep breath. Let's just ask John. Lizzie gripped her knife firmly, set aside her doubts. Her John would never do anything to hurt her. She got up and began preparing dinner for them, though her knife moved a little more forcefully than necessary. Yes, quite spiffin'. When she finally heard his footstep, Lizzie eagerly dropped her knife and ran to fling the door open. Welcome home, John. My, you're in a good mood. She pulled him inside and into her embrace, which he returned warmly. Once they had the door closed behind him, though, Lizzie let some of her concerns show. John, I hope this isn't just a silly fear, but I wanted to talk to you about it. Do we have some kind of financial problem? You know, you could share anything with me, right? His eyes widened, and he gave a rueful smile. What? God, I'm sorry. I was planning a happy surprise for you, but I guess I should have known you might get worried over it. A surprise? The money from all the extra shifts? It's for a surprise? I've been saving funds for our wedding. Her heart. She had been right to trust him. Absolutely right. I'm sorry, I'm a fuck-up. Though she didn't understand why he would keep it a secret. She was certain that he would explain, and of course her John would have a good explanation. Oh, John, that's wonderful. I thought we were being robbed. Just say that, woman. John moved further in and sat down, drawing her with him onto the couch. After all the unnecessary tension dragging her down, now she was elated. Though she gave John a huge smile, the way his eyes lingered on hers suggested that the tension was visible on her face. I've been planning this for quite a while. After high school, you were nervous a wedding would go wrong somehow, so I didn't try then. As time went on, you seemed less worried about it, but by then we already had our college debt. I started thinking about I talked about money a lot, and I wondered if you wanted to get married, but I felt that you couldn't ask because of money. So I decided to save up a decent amount. Then I could ask you to and show that the money would be no concern. Oh, you didn't need to be concerned about that, John. Not at all. I'm just so happy. Let me know if you have concerns, Lizzie. I'm grateful you helped support me, but I want to support you too. Oh, a part of me wants to get married right away, but we shouldn't rush. We should make sure everything is perfect. Yeah, that would be something we can talk about. Jesus, so hot. Actually, let me get the money. No sense keeping it in a packet now. Wait, let me hold you longer first. Lizzie threw herself at him cheerfully, and he was glad to hold her. She nestled against his chest, imagining their wedding. So Lizzie realized that her imagination was only the beginning. The two of them could discuss all their wedding plans now. She pulled back and beamed at him again. So many decisions to make. Where do we start? Well, do you still want me to get down on one knee and propose? It feels kind of weird given everything, but I wasn't sure if you'd appreciate the gesture. 3 years ago I think I would have said yes, but now I don't think it really matters. We both already know that we want to get married. And as for the romantic gesture, hee, I already have lots of romantic memories, like you helped me clean up all those bodies. What? What? Girl, what? Nothing's more romantic than cleaning up the dead bodies you killed with your partner, hiding every evidence that you went on a murdering spree of security personnel, high-tech security personnel with high gear and all that. Chop them all up with an axe. A small hand axe held with one hand. Not even a battle axe, just one hand. It was so romantic that we could have just made love on all those dead bodies. That got a chuckle from him, which had been her goal. She meant it, though. John wasn't like her, and he could have been scared, but he had helped her and accepted her even after seeing everything she was capable of. Compared to that, the fantasy of him going down on one knee didn't seem to matter. Getting married, though, she still wanted that, and all the memories that went with it. Lizzie put her hand on his knee eagerly. Okay, you were probably thinking about all kinds of plans and details, right? How close are we? Well, that depends. It doesn't cost much to just get married at the courthouse, but I imagine you wanted more than that. The price of most weddings is ridiculous, but I've been looking into ways to avoid the worst cost. They inflate prices for weddings, you see. John explained everything he had been considering, making it clear just how much research he had done. She agreed with him on almost everything. They didn't need a lot of stupid expensive things for their wedding, just the thing that really mattered, which quickly came down to a small list. I looked into renting a tux, but it was actually a little more expensive than I expected. Is a suit fine? I'm sure you look wonderful. But I assume you want a unique dress, right? Yes, it doesn't have to be expensive, but I want something that can remind me of the wedding. There are people in town that make dresses for less than I thought. I'll introduce you, and you can choose whatever you want. Okay. She didn't need a fancy dress. In fact, the idea of choosing all the little details appealed less than the role of the dress would play in creating their perfect moment. But does it really matter? Does it? Since they already banged? Never mind. But it was such a nice idea that she didn't even mind having to talk to someone else about it. I remember you saying how pictures were important to you, so I've looked up into photographers. It's more expensive than I thought, again, but I don't think we'll need them for long. No, probably not. John, we haven't talked about if we're going to invite anyone to our wedding. His expression came more serious, though not sad. He nodded slowly. Yes, we need to talk about that. Setting aside everything except what you want, how many people do you want at our wedding, Lizzie? 2. I'm guessing you don't mean all that matters is the 2 of us, John. We don't need anyone else. That does simplify things, and since we don't want much of a service, that means we don't need to reserve the venue for as long either. John, do you agree with me? How many people do you want at our wedding? He paused for a moment, but she didn't see any fear in his eyes. He reached out to take her hands, and Lizzie gave an encouraging squeeze. Honestly, I wish we could have a few people, but right now, there's no one I really want to invite. I mean, we have some friends, but Lizzie considered thoughtfully both his words and the implication beneath them. So there's no problem for the wedding? But in the future, do you need more people? You'll always be the only one for me, Lizzie. You do know that, right? Of course, John. She embraced him again, beaming. In fact, she decided to just stay dreamt against him while he did a quick total on a sheet of paper to show it to her. So this is a total so far, pretty manageable, but we haven't talked about rings yet, which could be really expensive. Nope, I don't want any diamonds. Huh? Really? I mean, the ring will be something we actually wear for a long time, and I figured diamonds are traditional. I thought that was just an engagement ring. Diamonds are only valuable because of a monopoly. We learn all about it in one of my classes. They're the kind of thing that normal stupid people think is special. We're much more special than that. Since John wasn't objecting, Lizzie hopped up and ran to get her notebook. She returned with it, flipping the pages rapidly to get to the one she wanted. I remember that page. Is it actually about rings? Yes. I didn't draw any design, but I've been thinking about materials. At first I thought about using high-grade steel, but the thing about steel is that different grades are better for different uses. The idea of using a knife steel was kind of nice, but I realized that was the wrong material. Our ship is much more durable than that. Smiling, John put an arm around her and sat back, just enjoying listening to her enthused about the subject. For a while, I was thinking of having tungsten carbide rings, because it has such a good hardness rating, but tungsten is brittle and impacts can break it, and that's nothing like our relationship at all. So I decided that titanium might be the best after all. It's a little more common, but it would be strong, and I'd be so happy to see us wearing them. It doesn't matter if it's common. What matters is that they're the rings we want. Titanium rings are fine with me. Also, titanium is much lighter, and while it probably wouldn't make too much difference, I don't want my ring to slow me down at all. You obviously thought this through. Well, that seems better in all respects, because that means we don't need to pay nearly as much. In fact, we're pretty close to our total. Getting the I can't speak. Words hard. English hard. Me no speak English. Me no English good. Might be the hardest part. That's okay, I can wait. The oh god, why are you using big words? The simultaneously wanted to be married right away and wanted to be able to enjoy the anticipation forever. But one thing she had learned with John was that the anticipation of a thing often paled in comparison to the thing itself. She was eager for the wedding. That just improved the anticipation. Oh my god. For the next several weeks, Lizzie was overjoyed. Even handling the minor details of the event was wonderful, to say nothing of the major one. It all seemed to pass by in a rush, but she realized she really relished it and tried to capture every detail in her mind. The old woman who made her dress wasn't so bad, and helped Lizzie fill in the details of her fake fantasies. She loved what she saw, though given the schedule, she wouldn't see the finished dress until their wedding day. Getting their rings turned out to be simpler. Just a visit to the jeweller's and a wait. Their rings was their perfect match, except for the size. Until the wedding, they each held the other ring. Lizzie found herself clutching it in her hands often, smiling to herself. Focused on the wedding, Lizzie paid a little attention to the news. It didn't matter. All that mattered was the two of them, until one day when that wasn't true anymore. And that's where I'm going to leave it off. Yes, I've been your main man, Aaron Paradise. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share, all that fancy stuff, and I shall see you in the next episode of Crimson Ray, Dusk and Dawn, or Aaron Paradise Reads Like a Mong.